Hi, it's Stephen here from Sound of a Nation Wave, and this is day 18 of the December daily draws. So let's see what message we get today. And I'll be taking the first card from the Green Witch Tarot, followed by an oracle card from the Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle. So let's choose our first card and get the reading underway. And we have the Holly King, which is the same as the Hermit. It's card number 9 in the majors. So it's basically the Hermit. You can tell that with his light and his finding his path and everything. And the Holly King, of course, is very much a part of Yule and this time of year. But at Yule, the Holly King begins to be replaced by the other king that the Holly King defeated earlier in the year to take over for the dark half of the year. What's the other king called? You've got the Holly King, and you've got the other king as well, haven't you? Is it the Oak King? Whatever. If you know the story, and I know the story, but I've totally gone out of my head. But the time of the Holly King, when it's at the winter solstice, it begins to he loses power, and I think it's the Oak King begins to take over. His power increases. It's like it's the beginning of the end, if you know what I mean, of his reign, and you know the Oak King, which I believe is the king I'm thinking about, is the transformation doesn't completely get fulfilled until spring, but this is like the beginning of this is where his power begins to wane at the solstice. So this is the key part. So, but that's the story of the Holly King. So read into that what you will. That's just a bit of interest, but it's not really, I don't believe, the key to the meaning of the message or the meaning of this card today. I don't think it's that using that story as anything to say unless it speaks to you in some way. It doesn't really ring to me as being relevant to the message today, which is probably why I struggle to think about the other king. So the main message is the Hermit part. This is actually what this deck calls the Hermit. So it's basically saying we've got the Hermit card, and that I think is the message about finding the light for our path, finding our way ahead. And that's what we may need to do. And it can sometimes be a lonely path, that path of discovery, self-discovery, and finding our place on that life journey, the path we need to follow next. And sometimes this is perhaps during the darker half of the year is a good time to, in the moments of stillness, of where things slow down a bit, and things always seem a bit quieter if there's snow on the ground, etc., etc. There's less hustle and bustle as people perhaps relax and celebrate the holidays season. I'm not saying that means that everybody has nothing to do, because a lot of people that are preparing for visitors, preparing for meals and celebrations have a lot of work to do to prepare for that. So I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that it tends to be a perfect time to draw aside and to listen to ourselves and to search within ourselves. As I say, a time of personal reflection and self discovery, and in finding that our inner light that to light up our pathway forward from here on in. And how we can begin setting. We've had the Knight of Swords when we the affirmations, when we had the taking the actions we need to do. But first, we need to know what it is that we want to achieve, and figuring out the actions we need to take in order to begin accomplishing that before we can actually take those actions. And part of this involves a bit of self-discovery, a bit of self-reflection, to work out where it is we're headed, where that light is guiding us to go, and then we can make the appropriate steps from there. So we may need to have that time to look within, to discover something about ourselves, to perhaps see something, realize something that we didn't realize before, to get some illumination onto the situation and onto our own selves, and something we'll notice something about us when we do that might be important, and we'll suddenly see something within ourselves or within our situation that we need to see, and that will help us navigate our way forward. So to me is, don't if you need to take a bit of time, self-reflection, self-discovery in order to find that place, then by all means, now is probably a good time to do so. Let's do that so we can get that illumination that we need to light the way forward. Okay, let's see which oracle card we get to go with that. And we have the Crone. So maybe the year is at its Crone period, towards the latter half of its life. 2024 is coming to an end. This is the Crone period of 2024 that occurs to me. In our lives, we could be, when we have those Crone years, particularly, not so much perhaps me, but when we have that wisdom through experience, and also when we're navigating that, we may need a bit of self-reflection, self-discovery, because maybe we're realizing our role is changing and we need to change with it, and we need a bit of self-discovery and self-reflection to determine how it is now we navigate this next stage in our journey, because of the different role that we're now facing. So it's using the wisdom from our experience and from our lives, listening to that inner voice within that comes from that speaks from that experience, to gain the illumination and guidance we need to light the way forward. And it's worth spending the time to do that, because it will help us in the long run. Okay, so that's today's message. I'll be back tomorrow with day 19. Until then, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.